can't function, without it. And so this is why I said today we just have a conversation about mothers, because mothers are a unique being that was given from God. One I'm going to talk about this morning and welcome everyone in, those that are virtual, those that are from the mother campus, and of course, all of those that are part of the virtual campus and to our global connection. This is a Mother's Day, so we say Happy Mother's Day to everyone and happy support, because there are many people who have supported mothers, because there's no perfect person. And many times people think that, my mom wasn't this or that, but you can't do what you don't know, and you can't give what you don't have. And sometimes our parents or our moms didn't get the opportunity or the exposure to get us to a certain point. And so we have those that have moms, we have those that their moms have gone on, and I'm going to share with you some things that are critical to you. But the one that I look at biblically is Hannah. Hannah names means grace and favor. And so what happens is women, before they become mothers, are enticed by men, and it's a woman's nature to support and to nurture. But a woman has to be smart and make sure she's nurturing the right person who plans to be a husband. Most women start out managing and nurturing situations and not opportunity, because mothers have a healing, kind of a comforting type of spirit. And so men sometimes know how to come and awaken that, because he himself is not in a place with God that he should be. And I say this all the time to young women, is if God is not his head, he can't be your head. That's just an act of your biological being. Because typically men always tell women, oh, I'm the head of the house, I'm the head of the house. But who's the head of the man? That's why women go on what I call these wild donkey rides, because he does not have a bit in his mouth, but he wants to put a bit in your mouth, because he knows that you are a good woman and you will be good to children, but that doesn't mean that he's good to you. And so the standards have to be raised. What's your future? What's your objective? What is your goal? So if I decide to quit work, how do you take care of the family? I don't, and women are so powerful that they're not like the women of yesterday. And many of them were not like this. They just didn't get credit and exposure. I just don't want to sit around and have a bunch of babies for a man who will watch pornography and who will be at the strip club all the time. You have to know your value, because God took you as a mother, as a woman, and turned you into a mother. Men plant children. It is the mother who nurtures and grows the kid. Without that, it's impossible for us to exist. So mothers have a different connection with it. The name Hannah means grace and favor. So what happens is a mother nurtures. So what it does is, not only when the umbilical cord has been cut, there forms another attachment with the mother. Mothers can feel the spirit of their child. Mothers can feel when something is wrong with their child. And so then we always look for it. But when we look at Hannah, Hannah was bearing intentional for God's purpose. And so there was no book written on what a mother should be and what a mother shouldn't be. And most of the perception came from man. So many times men did not allow women to discover themselves, because they, in certain cultures, could pick a woman or pick a girl after her first menstrual cycle. Then they would constitute that she's a woman when she's a little girl. And so in certain cultures, They teach that you need to have a man because they presume that a man is protection and covering, but not all the time. Because no one, and just I can see the expression on your face. Your mother's probably never told you God needs to be the head of the man. He's just a man. He works. But just because he works does not mean he knows how to treat you. Because part of a mother's rim is the covering of a man, but he's not covering her, then she can't nurture like she would and could because he has stolen from her. Does this make sense? So when we look at this, Hannah's grace, the grace and favor that Hannah has and that you have is an ability to talk to God. But the challenge is we're talking to God about things and not about development. How do I be an effective mother? Help me understand the gifts and talents of my kids, my children. What you should be able to know their strengths and their weaknesses. Not measure them by who their father is, but measure them by who their God is. When do you pray with your children? When do you pray? So this is when you talk about mama's power, mama's secret weapon is Hannah went before God and she didn't see, because in the perception of men, and they'll argue with me, and I have a strong men following, but I'm still questioning that, but I will tell men the truth. You need to be aligned with God. Your dreams are not bigger than the oxygen that you're living on. And so a man has to learn from God how to treat a woman that becomes a mother. Now, how is that possible? It's in the Bible. He said, men, love your wife. Husbands, love your wife as Christ has loved the church. Women have subjected themselves to men who had no God. All because of history and culture. You are gifted, you are precious, and your body is unique. Nobody could do what you have done. Does this make sense? It doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter your texture, it doesn't matter your size. You are gifted. The problem is most mothers hadn't tapped into their universal and spiritual power that God has given them. And so I thank God for the support system of aunts and nieces that help with kids and nurture you, because there's a lot of nurturing. But if you've not been nurtured, then a lot of times, it's even in the animal kingdom, there are females that can birth cubs, but not know how to be a mother. Even in cows, sometimes the mother will not feed the calf. And so there's no book for mother. And so it makes it hard when you are needing things that they don't understand that you need. This is why every mother should spend time daily talking to God. Here is how I say to mothers, because when you're young and you're cute, and I was messing with some of y'all in here with these young ankles and things, and y'all all looking cute, got your little summer dresses on, life gonna change that. Life gonna change that hair. You know, I used to have waves. Y'all would probably fake. Wouldn't even recognize who I was. I look at myself sometimes when I go to my mama's house and I don't recognize who I was. Your beauty is beyond your exterior. It's beyond your shape. The beauty is your heart. And so as a mother, what you're trying to do is instill that nurturing spirit in your daughters and as well as your sons. Because your sons will choose a woman based on his mother's perception. Say it again. Yes, yes. Fathers are critical. Fathers most of the time, and this is true, and I know a lot of people won't accept it, but I'm not concerned. I always say that this right here is your most powerful thing. You can switch over. A lot of men don't want daughters because what they want is mini-me's. And a lot of men have taken their daughters and tried to put them and framework them to compete with a man when you're two different beings. And so daughters generally choose men based on the relationship they have with their father or the relationship they didn't have with their father. Father is the one that sets the foundation. Mother is the one that nurtures and grows the foundation and grows up. Mother puts the framework around. You follow what I'm saying? It's very rare that if your father teaches you how to brush your teeth, it's normally your mother who teaches you about your hygiene. Daddy just coming in the door scratching his behind and want to sit down at the table. Mothers are generally the ones that teach you how to wash your hands, how to prepare. You know, I had a wonderful mother. My mother would teach me how to cook, wash, iron, and sew. She said, and you know, my mother wasn't perfect because she wasn't exposed to a lot of things. But she did always say this. She said, if you ever get married, you can't give that woman a bunch of babies and then sit on the couch. Ain't nobody want to say nothing. You need to know how to wash, iron, while she pregnant and feeling bad and carrying your little nappy head child. That's what my mom would say to me. So my mother used to have prayer with me by the washing machine every day. I don't know if she knew something was wrong with me, but before I would go out to the school bus to catch the school bus, seriously, my mother would pray with me by the washing machine in the kitchen every day. And that's where we would have our conversations. My mother was my secret balance. And she would always say to me, now, I know what you want to do, but this is what I need you to do. I have two beautiful daughters. I made a vow because I come from an environment where people talk loud. And my father was a loud talker. And I said, I don't want my daughters to grow up to think it's okay for a man to yell at them. So my daughter, one of them is 33, will be 34 this year. Am I right? Yes, your sister. 35. Okay, I'm missing one. I don't want to get hit. And then my youngest daughter will be turning 30. From 30 to 35, I've never raised my voice at them. It didn't mean I didn't want to kill them. But I don't want them to meet a man that they have to provide for. I don't want them to meet a man that they got to take care of. If he's struggling, let him get out of struggle before you fool with him. If he don't have any aspirations, you can give him all the loving and all the attention in the world and wear all the beautiful outfits. It's not going to make him go out there and fight. That's something he's not finished in his wilderness. And you've had his babies when he hadn't come to himself. Am I making sense? And so you think you're complete with a man? A man is part of your completion, but he's not your final completion. Your final completion is with God. And if you seek God, God will give you a man that will take care of you and cherish the beauty of you in God over the beauty of your flesh. Am I making sense? Because y'all don't need to make no more bad decisions. That book should be full. So my mama power was prayer. Her power was a kind voice and a conversation in the corner away from everybody. So and I've got kicked out of elementary school, middle school. I don't know if I got kicked out of high school, but it was my mother who balanced me with those small conversations. You can, you will, you shall. You have to apply yourself. Dad would just chastise you or punish you, but it's mothers who nurture you. It doesn't make you weak. Parents are supposed to balance. If they don't spend time with you, how would they spend time with the children? I always said one of the worst things to have is you can have a father, but doesn't mean that he's a father in the house. Yeah, he may live with you, but he may be the Tasmanian devil in the house. And I don't have a problem with telling the truth from men, because the average man wants to dominate everything. And what I found out is that men that want to dominate everything generally don't have a God. They want to be God. And they don't have that in them to nurture and love what they have sown. So mama's power, because a mother will generally pray before a father will. A father just tells you, a mother will teach you. There's a difference. Now, they'll teach their sons and give them a baseball and a football and a helmet and want him to go. But what about your daughters? See, he can fix certain things, but does he invest in you? Am I making sense? Your mother married him based on culture, not based on love. I wish I could help you. So she tolerates it because it's always men who said, oh, you can't get a divorce. But it's always men who normally cheat. Hello? It's normally men who, it's very hard. Now, there are those that are out there, but it's very hard. Most women are dedicated. Now, some of them are not, but most women are dedicated. But it's hard to find a dedicated man. And you're too precious for somebody to use you. You're too precious for somebody to grow up on you. Let him grow up. Don't wear his scars and you try to find a new relationship after you've been verbally abused, physically abused, neglected, not taken care of, because then your standards are too low. And if you feel like you don't have anybody, it's not that you don't have anybody. It's just the circle you're in don't have the standards you need. Because you're just looking for love. And love is normally about 35 seconds. That's a long time for some of y'all. Am I making sense? You have to get into the beauty of the heart. What's your goals? What's your dreams? If you are a mother, if you are a woman and you're trying to get your education and all that, that's great. But don't let things and people fool you to take less than you deserve. Men say that they need their space. Sometimes you need space from the children. I'm going to play golf. You're at the house, dishwasher broke, kids don't know how to wash dishes, don't know how to vacuum, and he come home talking about what we gonna eat. And boy, it's mighty quiet in here. Here's the thing. Mothers, protect your mental space. Protect your spiritual space. Here's what I want to share with you, because we have those that mothers have gone on. Mothers were not meant to be on earth forever. Everyone's here for a season. And there's nothing wrong with you missing or desiring your mother, because we all will. But here's the thing, and I understand it because I was sitting there thinking it's because she incubated you for 9 months. She nurtured you. She was probably the second one to touch you in your life. So she has a wonderful place in you. But what she left you because physically her body or her mind could not function. And we as children should not want our mother sitting here and not have a good quality of life. But what you have is the teachings of her spirit. You have the constant reminders. You have the principles that she instilled in you. Yes, it's human nature to miss the person, but at least you have the value of the person who developed and nurtured you. So don't hang your head down for the absence of your mother. Glorify your mother for the presence that she left in you. Does that make sense? My mother is 86 and she has some challenges. She told me some stuff yesterday that made me laugh. But I'm going to share something with you that will help you. And maybe for those, some didn't do it and some didn't know to do it. Sometime when you're talking to your mom and she's not all fixed up and at her state, take her picture and say to her, "This is my mom. This is what birthed me. That's what I do with my mom. I take pictures and I record my mom's voice because you want that going forward because you're going to have those moments. Those are human moments. But take that picture, record that little conversation, and sometime you have to play it back because that was your first connection with humanity. So there's nothing wrong with that. So take those pictures. I've got plenty of pictures of my mom, and they're not always on a good day. She would tell me, you taking my picture and they ain't got my hair and my teeth in? I said, but that's the thing that birthed me. I want to see my real mother. Okay, I don't want to see when you doll up and do all that because I came from you. I am a product of you, and I'm proud to be a product of you. So when I'm having those moments and tears are in my eyes as a son and I was a mama's boy because my mother nurtured me, I can at least hit my phone and hear my mother's voice. So don't take the moments that you have with your mother. And if she's younger and feeling good, that's the time to take those pictures because you're going to need them later. And so that's what I do with my mom. But their spirit will always be with you. And you have to understand and teach your children early. No parent wants to outlive their children. Just like it's painful to you, it's painful when a parent says, I had to bury my son. I had to bury my daughter. It's painful. So when I talk to older people, they're like, oh no, I want to outlive. And older people now will say to you as we get ready to close, I didn't know everything to teach you. But I gave you what I had. And some things you needed, I didn't have it in me. So this is why I said parents are not perfect. Some of them are mean intentionally because they were not nurtured. Angry people birth angry people. Something happened in their childhood that put them in a bad disposition. So don't hold the grudge. And I heard the great Oprah Winfrey say this. She said she needed something from her mom and she had to realize her mom just couldn't give it to her. She didn't have it. But her mom wanted her to go to church and let all of her friends see her that this is my daughter, and it was important to her mom. And Oprah was saying, but on the other side, she was deprived. And she said, what can I say? And how, because I don't want to lie. And she realized her mother gave her all she had. I think she said something happened to her mother very young and it wasn't, some things that didn't go right. So her mother was fighting her past and not embracing the beauty of her children. So you have to understand, and I have to understand, that our parents and sometimes our mothers just don't have what we need. But we still should love them for bringing us into this world and giving us the opportunity to discover that I can find it, because you can't get some things out of something that's not in them. So if you have your parents, or if you're going to visit where your parents may be in a mausoleum or whatever, just take a moment and thank God and thank your parents for what they did do. Now, what you can do is do better than what they did. So the generations that you're bringing up, the generations that you're developing, will not have to go through what you went through. So love your parents, love your moms, and know that they gave you the best they could. And remember, stay before God. That's your secret weapon. Stay before him. And understand something. It's not that what you desire is delayed, but sometimes it's still being developed. And sometimes God is still developing you. Because the next phase of your life can't be a repeat of the present or the past of your life. God bless you. I'll see you soon.